were here when you left, and some new guys added in, but it seems like it's been pretty good competition.
Yes, it's been fun to see, to leave and come back a year later and see how they've matured more than anything. They've all been good players, you know, the Ben Berries and guys like that, but they're grown up now. You know, they're the older guys in the class, and they're taking a leadership role, and it's fun to see those guys, how they've developed, and now everybody else that's behind them, the two deep, is crazy good, fast. It's fun to watch.
Your role doing special teams and then helping defense, how do you kind of mix that, or what did Coach, when he brought you back, how did you guys want to mix that?
I've always worked with linebackers in some capacity for the most part. I played linebacker in college, and so being able to help with linebackers has been good. And I knew the system coming in from Purdue, so I was able to help Coach Ivey transition into that role. And then still at the same time, he's in charge of it, so I can go and still do special teams, you know, and have a focus on that we need to have. And it's been good. The other part that's good with it is, when I was here the first time, all I did was special teams. And so I was a little bit out of touch with offense, a little bit out of touch with defense. So in order to be fully in touch with these guys and know, all right, this guy's really good on defense, he's valuable, we might need to pull him off of a couple of special teams. And or you see guys like, man, that guy's flying around and just not quite ready on defense, let's put him on special teams because he gives great effort and he does play fast and all that stuff. So being able to be on one side of the ball has been good for that.
You left and Stu left last year. They had a mix of a lot of guys. How important is it to have a focus on that?
I think one voice is helpful. You know, even before I left, you know, I was here for that spring, right? So Stu left, and then we had a mix of voices in the room, and I tried to manage the voices, you know, because with my role, I wasn't really able to give instruction. I wasn't really able to do much, so that was hard. And when you have multiple people having a voice in, you know, different terminologies and stuff like that, it's hard. And so when the kids get one voice, kind of like offense, defense, right? You have one guy that says, all right, this is what it is, and then everybody else goes and coaches. And so to be able to give those guys that, it gives them some consistency. And then the other coaches can just feed off of what I'm doing, right? And then we all do a really good job of coaching each position group just as if it's offense or defense.
In regards to special teams, you come in and you obviously need to replace a kicker, you need to replace a punter. How big of a challenge, and how's that driving competition as well?
It's been fun because I will say this, like Brock Travelstead, when I left, was pushing to be the starter. And he ended up having an injury that held him out, you know, and so I don't know if he starts last season, or James Turner starts last season, if Brock was healthy the whole time. So we have great confidence in him. And then we bring in Nick Lopez from Cal, and he's pushed the room. And then Nick Keller is local. He's from up in northern Kentucky, and he is got one of the biggest legs I've ever seen. And so the competition is crazy. And then across the river, you got Cole Hassan, who's coming from Michigan, and he's like the smartest kicker I've ever been around as far as, hey, if we do this, we could do that, or they do this, we could do that, or whatever. And he's got ideas, and he's been a real mature and grown voice in the room. So we've got a really good mix of kickers. And at punter, Brady has worked his butt off, and to see how he developed after I left and came back has been awesome to see. He's done a really good job of driving the ball down the field and having good hang time and getting the ball off quick is what you need, right? And then Carter Schwartz, a local guy, a freshman, he's got a big leg. We got to work on some stuff with him, but you know, like I said, we've got great competition in those positions that we got to replace, and then we've got what you really need is that long snapper with Shy Coaching coming back, who he kind of keeps it all together. You know, he played in 13 games last year, and he's really good. And so, but to have that guy be consistent really helps those other guys be consistent too. So.
I know you weren't gone long, but what's it like being back personally this time around?
Personally, it's been like different than I thought it would be, right? So I walk in the office when I first get back, and there's people in the offices that I expect to be there, right? And the secretaries like Vicky and Robin, and then they're where they're supposed to be. And then I go around the corner, and I think I'm going to see somebody else that used to be here, and it's somebody completely different from Purdue. And then I get to the next corner, and I'm like, my mind was all screwed up at first, and so that's been fun to get back with everybody. And then, you know, we live on a different side of town, so that's different, you know. And then my kids have had today they've had their first day of school or two, so because they had two. But no, so it's been good. It's nice transition for my family too. We got friends here. You know, we had friends that would come up and visit us when we were in West Lafayette, and now they're closer. We're closer to my wife's family where my kids' cousins live, so that's better. You know what I mean? So it's just good. It's comfortable and it's fun.
What was